Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another week of your Hog Hoops Report with Kevin McPherson. And Kevin, I've been hearing a lot of things with practice starting. Man, some big, heavy lifting in practice. And I heard the defense is top tier right now. What's some things you've been hearing for the Arkansas Razorbacks basketball practices?
Well, you said it. It's the defense, CJ. That's been we talk about that the last few segments, and they're
Yeah.
really about halfway through, getting close to that midpoint of those limited summer practices. 4 hours a week on the court is all they get, and Eric Musman and his staff are going to make the most of that. But look, these guys are also going to get 10 extra full practices before they head off to that foreign exhibition tour. 4 games starting in Spain, wrapping up in Italy.
Right.
That's early to mid-August. So at some point in July, they're going to get 10 days of full practice. So they actually get to expand on those limited practices. So I think that's going to be a good thing for this team. But you bring up the defense. It's that collective length and athleticism, floor IQ. Eric Melsman put out a graphic, I think, earlier today comparing Arkansas's average height and length to NBA, and it's up there. It's basically on par, if not edging some out there. And
Yeah.
That's going to be, if you look at, I keep saying it, if you look at what Arkansas's identity has been so far in Musman, it really starts at that defensive end.
Yep.
Once they solve personnel, their rotations, and how they communicate on that end of the floor, on that side of the ball, that's when Arkansas has really picked up steam, maybe in some mid-January slumps, and not only turn those slumps around, but won in a big way on their way to Elite Eights and back-to-back seasons. So I think it's a good sign when the defense is already this much being talked about and praised this early, right? Just in June so far. So we'll see how that plays out. I know Musman's got 11 newcomers out of 13 scholarship players, a lot of talent there. 3 5-stars who, by the way, CJ, I want to give an update on that. I continue to hear just how good these guys are. And, I just recently, this past week, put out my projection for a top 7 rotation. All 3 of those guys, Nick Smith Jr., Anthony Black, Jordan Walsh, are in there. You keep hearing about, some of the next level NBA type stuff that you see. Sometimes it's big wow plays, maybe not as consistent as they like, but it's getting there with Trevon Brazile, the 6'10" forward center transfer, very versatile guy from Missouri, was a freshman last year for the Tigers. And then Ricky Council, the 4th, I'll lump him in there.
I've been hearing a lot of things about him.
The transfer from Wichita State. Now, I don't know, with Musman, it's about the rotation. It's not necessarily who starts or comes off the bench. We've seen Devo Davis in 2 years, come off the bench last season to help the team to Elite Eight as a 6th man. The year before that, he earned a starting role midway through and kept that. But he still played top 5 minutes. So, we want to take some as the great salt. But when I bring up those 3 5-stars and I talk about Brazile and Council, those are 5 guys I've identified weeks ago in an article I did at Ogville as having NBA potential. We talk about Devo Davis. An onlooker at practice just last week said Devo was playing angry defense. He was an angry defender. And you want that kind of passion from a guy like Devo Davis, who turns and flips games sometimes by just being passionate and energetic in 50-50 ball battles. Sometimes it just is winning a few possessions to turn a game. He's been that kind of guy. And so you look at, some of the things that are going on in practice. Yeah, there's newcomers. There's 11 of them. We know there's 6 freshmen in that, but you got high-level guys. It's high floor IQ. And again, the length and the height, the athleticism. Collectively, it's been the best at Arkansas in many years. That includes Musman's first 3 teams. And I think this team learns more. I think it really can bank those experiences playing those foreign exhibition tours, because sometimes, CJ, it doesn't matter really the level of competition when you do that. It's the idea of getting away from everybody, bonding, getting some floor chemistry. You can see, even no matter what the level of competition, what things are working and what things need to be tweaked and worked on.
I'm looking forward to see these guys. I heard those practices are insane, like you've been talking about. And Ricky Council Jr. and Ricky Council the 4th. Man, I've been hearing some special things about him. I'm very excited to see him play this upcoming season. All right, we talked about the recruiting, 13 recruits we got coming this season. Talk about next year and the years coming, about the recruits that will be coming to Fayetteville.
Well, we know about Layden Blocker. He just committed a week ago, ESPN National number 28, knocking on, I always say it, knocking on the door, being a 5-star. What a big week he had right after off the heels of that Arkansas commitment last weekend. He goes to MBPA Top 100 camp. It's a prestigious camp every year of the top players in the country. And at both ends of the floor, he was arguably the best 2-way player there. You've got a ton of players representing the class of 23, 24, some 25. And look, he walks away from that as one of the top 10 All-Stars named after that at the end of that event. Basically a week-long event, 3 days of games toward the end of the week. So it's a lot of competitive play. Leighton Blocker showed well.
Right.
But you look at, other guys that are Arkansas's really zeroed in on. Bay Fall, the national top 15 5-star, 6'10 forward center. He's out of played at Denver Prep Academy last year. We'll see where he's at this next season. But he's a guy that took an unofficial visit to Arkansas for the Arkansas-Kentucky basketball game back in February. I expect he'll take an official visit, but a big week for him as well. Probably the most efficient shooter. I think he was around 70% shooting from the field. Hit a couple of big double-doubles in his two of his last 3 games there. But you keep an eye on him because I think the official visit is probably looking at the fall. I think Arkansas is in great shape. And at this point, I would say Arkansas is in the lead for him, as well as his teammate from Denver, another 6'10 big man, Hassan Diop, who's a little bit more versatile. He plays more of a facing the basket game, whereas Bay Fall he can play facing too, but does more work with footwork and post moves and playing around the basket. Diop's a little more versatile, can play facing. 6'10. Both guys are extremely athletic, long, rangy, and quick. The quickness is what I noticed, getting off the floor with ease, agility. But Diop is a special player. He also took part in the camp, showed well during the week. And then I think, when I look at another prospect that Arkansas really likes, Zayden High, 6'9 forward center from Texas, going to play at Arizona, going to play at a prep school in Arizona, an independent school, not a prep, this next season in his senior season. But he was a guy that every time I watch him, he reminds me of Jalen Williams, maybe a little smaller, typically not as much of the volume rebounder that we saw Jalen at the same stage and beyond. But I thought Zayden did a really good job of hitting the glass in this camp and also shot the ball well from 3, right around 50%. So he was scoring right around 10 points, right around 10 rebounds most of the event. I thought he did well. And then you look at Chris Johnson, the 6'4 combo guard, also from Texas, going to play his senior season at Montverde Academy. We know that's a basketball factory, but he also did some good things, kind of stuffed the stat sheet throughout. Didn't shoot the ball necessarily well, but these are priority guys. I just mentioned Zayden High and Chris Johnson. Arkansas also looks to get those guys on campus for official visits in the fall. Chris Johnson's been on once for an unofficial visit last fall.
And real quick, Kevin, the Pro Hawks go to the NBA Summer League in California. Tipped off yesterday. The Lakers were in action. Mason Jones had a good outing out there as well as the Warriors. The Warriors were out there as well with Moses Moody and JD Notae. Talk about those Pro Hawks in NBA Summer League yesterday.
Yeah, Mason Jones, he had 8 points, but he had a game-high 6 assists, a steal, 4 rebounds. He's a guy that goes out and does different things. He's a scorer. We know that, but sometimes he can facilitate at a high level, and we saw that yesterday as the Lakers jumped all over the Heat, won that game. Moses Moody, JD Notae did not play against the Kings last night. They're saving them up for this big battle tonight, CJ, between Mason Jones and the Lakers and the Warriors. And I think Moses Moody and JD Notae, who signed on with the Warriors Summer League, I think all of those guys will see the floor tonight. So that's going to be an interesting game to watch. You also look at Justin Smith, the former Hog that helped Arkansas to its first Elite Eight, the transfer one and done from Indiana. Played in the G League last year with the Raptors G League organization. He has signed on with the Philadelphia 76ers Summer League roster. And Isaiah Joe, the third-year pro, former Razorback, former Fort Smith Northside Gatorade Arkansas Player of the Year. Those guys are teaming up on the Summer League team for the Sixers.
Right.
And so they'll be playing here in a few short days in the Salt Lake City Classic, part of the Summer League before the big one, which is Las Vegas. The one we just talked about, the California Classic with Mason Jones, Moody, and Notae. Then you got Jalen Williams. He just got drafted number 34. We were there, for his draft party, but he's with the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's a quick turnaround from draft to being in the Summer League. And so his teams also starts out before Vegas in that Salt Lake City event. So his team, the Thunder, and the Sixers are going to meet up. So you not only have 7 former Hogs when you look at all those guys, plus Stanley Moody, who signed an Exhibit 10 contract, a 1-year non-guaranteed as an undrafted free agent. He's with the Detroit Pistons Summer League. So you got 7 Pro Hogs in the Summer League, and you got several of them going head-to-head and some playing together. So this is, to me, it's appointment television already, even though the 21-22 season just wrapped up and crowned the Golden State Warriors champion just a few weeks ago. Man, it's off and running, and it's hot if you're a Hog fan.
Oh, it is going to be hot. That court is going to be even hotter. We got 3 Hogs tonight on NBA TV. Oh, my goodness. Warriors and Lakers, and also Isaiah Joe just had a birthday. I think it was yesterday, wasn't it, Kevin?
That's right. 23 years old, Isaiah Joe. He'll be a third-year pro. We know that he came out after his sophomore season and if you look at the success in the NBA with Arkansas drafts, last 4 drafts, Daniel Gafford, then it was Isaiah Joe in 2020. You had Moses Moody, the program's first one and done lottery pick, number 14, and now an NBA champion with rotation minutes in the playoffs as a 19-year-old. I still trying to wrap my mind around that. And that 2021 draft, and now Jalen Williams. So I think Arkansas, we just talked about what this current Arkansas team has, probably its most talent. I think we might see more than one hog next year, CJ, when Arkansas makes it 5 drafts in a row. I think this time we're going to see more than one hog drafted. That hasn't happened in a while.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure we're both going to be in action for another draft party next year. Kevin, it's always good as it is every week, man. I appreciate you stopping by.
Good to be with you, CJ. Thank you.
We got more Pick Trail coming up after the break. Make sure you guys don't go anywhere.